Hi there, my name is Neil Robinson. I'm the sales manager here at Storth Machinery. Just taken 5 minutes out today to put together a quick video for you on the 6-inch 3-point pumps. The pumps are available in various lengths, all in 2-foot increments, so they're hydraulically depth adjustable. We have 6 to 8, 7 to 9, 8 to 10, 9 to 11, 10 to 12 and 11 to 13 foot lengths. As you can see, everything's fully galvanised, which is fairly standard for us here at Storth. At the front end of the machine, we've got this really robust 3-point linkage headstock. So like most machinery that's doing any road work or any robust work, there's lots of strength in there, and we're not relying on the frame and a small coupling down there. We've got 2 double acting hydraulic couplings to the tractor, and those are looking after the 3-point linkage frame to main frame to give us depth control into the pit, and also then we've got the depth of the actual pump, which we'll see a bit more of in a minute when we go underneath and into the working area. Powering the pump, which is a 540 pump, is a T80 heavy duty shaft. So it's a heavy duty shaft, and it's designed for tractors that have got the power. In principle, we want 100 horsepower upwards, but to make the pump sing, in my opinion, you want about 120 horsepower. A nice storage point there for the PTO shaft when we're not using it. And as you'll notice, at the moment the pump's sat on the floor, so it's not great for hitching to a tractor. It was just because I'm a bit short, and it makes it really nice from a video point of view. Normally it would sit up on these 2 stands, up a bit, and far easier to then connect to the 3-point linkage. The PTO shaft is pulling through to a Rogelberg gearbox, and we use the Rogelberg because it is strong, it is reliable, and it's designed to work for long periods of time. The pump itself, the 3 points, are generally sold as an agitator pump in quite big pits, and you'll see that on the additional video that's here on the website. But again, it's designed to run for several hours without the gearbox overheating, without causing stress to the machine, and we found the Rogelberg is really reliable from that point of view. It drives down through then a UJ coupling, and as you can see in here, is supported there by a standard bearing with a grease nipple there. So you've got an oil immersed gearbox, and you've got a grease nipple here. Beyond this grease nipple here, we want a bit of grease on the where it's sliding up and down the 2 foot, but very little maintenance from that point of view. If I just clamber up a little bit, there's 2 or 3 levers up here. So we've got here the main lever here, which is controlling the horse's head. So when it's in the pit and working away, we can direct the slurry wherever we want that to go there, and it's got 300 degrees of rotation. And we can also use this handle here to change the spout. So whether we want it to fire at the base of the pit or whether we want it to operate midway up the pit, that can be used in conjunction with the hydraulic depth control to get a really good mixed quality. It's worthwhile mentioning at this point that we also have a hydraulic kit here which can be used from the tractor cab. So if you don't want to get out and move the head and move that, you can do that from the tractor cab, and we are selling more and more of that nowadays. The final lever really to look at is just around this side here, is this lever here, which is adjusting the pump from whether it wants to be in a pump position or whether we want it into an agitation position, and then that is locked in position with that screw threaded T-bolt there. A couple more options really. As you can see at the moment, this is blanked off, which is standard. But if you want to fit on there a bower fitting, whether that's 4, 5 or 6, you can do so. So if you then want to pump up to a store or pump on a little bit, you can put that on there. Or if you really wanted to, there's also a 2-way valve kit on the top. So there's quite a few options up this top end as well as below the surface. Right, I think I've covered everything up here. Let's go below, look what's happening below the surface. So if we move below the surface and start talking what's going on underneath, the first thing to note, and it's with all of our, the static 5-inch and all the dynamics of the 2-point and 3-point linkage, This is our main drive shaft coming down here, and we said this is 45mm in there. This is the outer tubing, galvanized, but what I'm trying to get to is this here. We have got here a heavy duty channel welded underneath, because care as we may, at some point this tube is going to clobber the side of the entry hole to a pit, or an underground store, a slatted shed or whatever. So there is protection on there, and that is with every pump apart from the electric we do that on. So, and I don't believe anybody else in the industry is doing that. You can see here better the adjustable ram that's giving us our 2 foot of movement, and you can see here where this is extending and retracting, and the tube here is sliding in and out of the box section there to give us our 6 to 8, 7 to 9, etc, etc, etc. Okay, as we move down the drive shaft, we've then got at the bottom of the drive shaft, we've got our rubber bearing, and that is the same rubber bearing we're using in our 5-inch pumps, 6-inch pumps, in our lagoon mixers, kestrels, and as you can see, a huge amount of products that we do. So that is sitting inside here, and the impeller is drawing slurry up. Slurry is passing through this and lubricating, so there's no need to grease this, and the slurry is then coming out of here. So we're using the slurry to lubricate that, and it's important that it's in the slurry when that is operated. I've got here an example of a shaft. It's a bigger one, so I think this will be out of a 10 to 12, but you can then see the size of the impeller. So we've got here a 500mm impeller housing, and then inside that we've got a 550mm impeller. So it's a 4-blade impeller there. You can see how robust and how big that is. And on the bottom of that we've then got a induction auger. Now that induction auger is standard on all machines, but this one here is slightly larger because this one has a chopper on it. So you'll see this one on my left is the standard, and as an option, this one here is a chopper kit, so it's a slightly bigger flighting, and we would then fit on the outside of here a plate which has 3 counter knives on it. So option chopper or standard here, but both of them are using that auger then to induce and draw material into the drum itself. From an agitation point of view, it's really interesting to look at the dynamics here of the pump. So once slurry is drawn into here, rather than teeing off here, so this is the main flow here, and rather than bringing slurry up here to tee off on a jetter or on an agitator, it's much more efficient to use the flow of material and keep it nice and smooth up here. So we're getting loads of performance, and I think it's 20,000 litres or 20 cube a minute, which is 4,500 gallons a minute. So a really, really high performing pump, not massive on pressure, but very, very good from an agitation point of view, which is where they're mainly used. The only bit really now is to try and understand there are limitations to the access holes here, depending on the size of pumps. So what you're looking at is, if you're looking at a 6 to 8 inch pump, you need a hole which is 610mm by 725, and 8 to 10 is 610 by 820, and anything that's over 10 foot in length, you're looking at an access hole which is 610 by 1000 millimeters, which is obviously a meter. The reason for that is we can tuck this in here, but as we enter into a hole, obviously there's an element of using that top link here, try and get it in, but there is limitations, although the hole doesn't have to be massive. Just moving back round to the front, it's important just to again make the statement. You'll have seen, hopefully, as we go around, there is the relevant safety stickers, warning stickers. There is a professional manual there that gives you all the part numbers and safety procedures. And as with everything that we sell, it is CE marked and complies with all of the legal bits and pieces. So thanks for your time, and if there's any further questions, please feel free to give us a bell. Thank you very much.